Hello and welcome to another episode of Jesse and Cade. Who's got two thumbs and calls series wins? This guy right here. Two of three. We are your leader in the Ty France fan club. Well, at least Cade is. At
Oh
one
yeah.
point, I asked for Ty France to be DFA'd, but he ended up coming through. This was over a private text between Cade and I. So Twins take two or three from the Mets. They lost the first game. Then they take the next two. Overall, the series was still pretty sloppy, to be perfectly honest. Um, However, it's hard not to see some bright spots in the team. We're going to talk about the bright spots, some of the maybe the concerns, and everything in between. Cade, what'd you see for the series?
Oh, you said good. I mean, obviously good series win. Um, but yeah, like you said, the sloppiness needs to get picked up a little bit. I don't know what happened with our pitchers and just feeling a ground ball. But again, we had only two errors, but I think in the second game, Johan definitely could have had another one. He almost threw it into center field on a one hopper back to the mound, throwing to short. Could have been a double play. Could have ended the game, but we got one out, so that was good. So it doesn't count as an error, but I mean, just sloppiness. I mean, the first game we had um, two different errors that whole game on pitching staff. So, but offense came through finally. I think we finally saw out of the three games, I would say two of the games. I mean, offensively, we looked very sound.
Yeah, I agree with you. Overall, speaking of the offense, thus far into the season, the team on base percentage is 270, which is 28th in the league, and 26th in OPS, which is a 326 OPS so far. However, this series, the Twins had a higher on base percentage. They had a 325 on base percentage this weekend, or not this weekend, but this week. And then their OPS was at a 683, so it did go up a little bit compared to what it is on the season. And that kind of brings us over to, I would say, the bright spot of the series, Harrison Bader. This team doesn't take two or three without Harrison Bader. Here's some of the Harrison Bader stats: 6 for 11, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. Could have been a third if the foot wasn't pushed off the bag. He made, I want to say, three really really great fielding plays in left field.
Yep.
Um, and on April 15th, Jackie Robinson Day, he went 3 for 4 with an RBI. Overall, he's been a spark plug. Great bottom of the order guy to turn over the lineup, and I'm really excited to watch what he has to bring throughout the rest of this season. Um, I might be over my skis and saying give him an extension right now, but that's kind of the way I feel. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we talked before this. We started hitting record, but I'd give him 4 years, 3 years. I mean, over his career, you know what you're getting out of him. He doesn't have these ups and downs, or this isn't a resurgence year. He's consistently. I mean, this is probably his best start to a season, offensively speaking. But I mean, you know what you're getting. You're getting a solid, an elite level glove, and you're getting a guy who is going to hit 230. So I would give him an extension right now.
Yeah. So this week we had some injuries. Looked like Wallner, Vasquez got hit on the hand, and then Correa did an Alex Kirilloff with his wrist. It looked like on a swing. What is your opinion on the future state of the Twins in regards to filling positions? Does Mickey Gasper back up Ryan Jeffers while Vasquez sits if Vasquez goes on the 10-day IL, or does Camargo come up? And is Willie Castro really the answer or for the backup shortstop over Brooks Lee if Correa is gone? And then lastly, we were talking about this off air also. The possibility of Kiersey, Buxton, and Bader in the outfield is really exciting to me. And I'm not saying dethrone Wallner because Wallner's got a cannon in right field. He's a great hitter. All these all these nice things you can say about Wallner, but overall this outfield is like really tempting to me for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, it gives our probably the most athletic and most explosive outfield we'd have in a while. Um, Again, you can't really. I wouldn't say I'd have Kiersey over Wallner right now. Well, healthy Wallner, just because of that his bat
Hmm.
and his arm speed and just general experience in the outfield. But I mean, Kiersey's got to play more. That dude is amazing on the base pass for one. He's actually giving our team a little bit of more life when you can pinch run him or just play him in the outfield. Um, but yeah, I like it. I mean, Larnach at DH, just worry about hitting for a little while, and Harrison Bader just keeps doing Harrison Bader's things. Um, and then as far as if Wallner does go on the IL, I mean, I think the only other outfielder we have on our 40 man is Emmanuel Rodriguez.
Hmm.
So do we want to bring up the young guy, the good prospect, and have him actually get some MLB appearances while Wallner deals with this? Because it's a hamstring. So even if it's a 10, 15-day IL, it could be extended, could be. We don't really know right now.
Yeah. Um, I would be cool with them throwing Willie Castro back in the outfield if it really came down to it. I can't watch him play second base anymore. When it was game one when everything was falling apart in the sixth or the seventh inning, and he catches that cutoff from right field and then throws the ball at the base runner, and then all three of the players run up to the ball at second base. It was at this point, I would say the lowest point for the Twins so far this season, and that's saying something because the Jose Miranda thing just happened last weekend. It just looked the body language as a whole looks so disconjected. But going back to the outfield, we they still do have four outfielders with Larnick.
Yeah,
I don't know about Larnick. I want to give him time. The last couple of years, this same exact thing has happened where he started off decently and then has just gone into this slump because he can't hit off speed. And then we send him down, and then he's back up, and then he goes down, and then he comes back up, and then he gets hurt. And then by the end of the season, it's another wasted season. He's in the prime of his career right now, athletic wise. Let's ride it out because the Twins don't know what they have because of the last few seasons have been filled with injury and with just call ups and send downs. So I think the outfield is still in a decent place. Where my bigger concern is the possibility of Mickey Gasper being the backup catcher to Ryan Jeffers. I started the season optimistic about it, Mickey Gasper because he had like really good AAA numbers last year, and I know that doesn't always translate. Um, but watching him in the field and maybe he's a better catcher than second baseman, I don't understand how he's on a big league roster right now. Over some other players like I always talk about him like a Luke Keeschel who I believe would be ready, and would play a better second base by the way. And then as far as Correa goes, and this is the Willie Castro thing, is Willie Castro now the starting shortstop if Correa goes on the IL? I don't care for that either. But then again, I'm thinking who else would they have at shortstop? They'd have Brooks Lee, but there's concerns over Brooks Lee's arm. Then again, Brooks Lee is playing third base. Overall, if I feel like if the Twins could call up a catcher, Camargo, he didn't play yesterday for the Saints, and maybe they're giving him a rest before the trip to Atlanta. Maybe they will call up Camargo because the bandage on Vasquez's hand in the dugout yesterday didn't look like something that was just going to be a 1 or 2 day thing. So overall, going on to Atlanta, what's your thoughts about the series coming up for Twins Atlanta?
Well, this isn't the Atlanta that we've seen from years prior yet. They also are in a slump. Um, Arguably, they're probably more of a disappointing team right now than the Twins. So when you go into that, this would be a nice series to kind of prove it. Like, okay, we just won a series against the Mets. Continue it into another series that, again, we're not going to. as of right now, the pitching staff for Atlanta is not doing good. Um, Again, Chris Sale can kind of pull out of it anytime. We do face him game two. So who knows when that happens? But to me, the pitching that we're gonna face is nothing crazy. Um, that being said, we still have. I mean, Joe Ryan pitches the third game. Paddock plays or pitches the first game. So I think we can compete. I think we just need our starters to get out there, give our offense a chance, and we need to keep the bats hot. And I think we could win 2 out of 3.
Is that your call for this weekend? 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that we maybe go on a thing called a winning streak. It's where you win 3 games in a row.
That's a big
Um,
one.
we win that one. Again, Chris Sale game. I know his stats are a little inflated right now, but he's still a veteran lefty that can absolutely bring it. Um, so we'll see. But then Joe Ryan, I think, can come in game 3 and give us for sure. And if we do squeak out game 2, we could maybe think bring out the brooms. But let's just worry about winning the series first.
I think something that we're not factoring in is this is the first time this season that they're actually going to be playing in warm weather,
Mhm.
and we may see a different team altogether. I'm pounding the table right now. This is a sweep.
Ooh,
I'm calling a
I
sweep.
like I like it.
Yeah. Again, this is positive Jesse speaking. So we could hit this pod on Monday morning or Sunday night, and I'm gonna have egg all over my face. I'm gonna be cursing out Eddie Julian again, and everything's gonna be wrong um, in this world. However, right now, this is a sweep. And the only game I'm unsure of is the Paddock Elder game because Chris Paddock makes me nervous whenever I see him pitch. His swing and miss stuff is non-existent, and his fastball has little to no movement. And I think he's going to pitch 5 and give up 2 earned, and I think they're gonna win. I think they're gonna go to the warm weather and they're gonna feel good, and I think they're gonna win. So overall, that's my call out for this weekend. I am inching closer and closer to an Eddie Julian apology. I still dislike what he brings. However, if he can continue what he was doing 2 years ago, I'm in. But I want to remind everybody, including you, Cade, that we saw a resurgent with Jose Miranda last season, and we had thought, okay, it's finally happening. And look where Jose Miranda is now. So, as much as I want to get excited about Eddie Julian, I'm going to wait on it a little bit longer. And I will give a formal apology if we are in July and he's still in the lineup and he's at the top of that lineup and he's got an OPS of 750 and a batting average of, let's say, 260, because that's just kind of hitter he is. He should have at least 260. So overall, that's the way I feel about Eddie Julian today. That's my update on Eddie Julian. Well, how are you feeling about Ty France?
Well, I already was texting you during the mid game that he's still one of our best hitters, and he brings that veteran presence to go 0 for 4, and then in the 10th when the game matters most, you just slap one to right center. There's half our guys on our team that don't do that. If they're
He
0
came
for 4, they're going to be 0 for 5. Like it's just how it's going to work.
he came up to the plate with a golden sombrero.
Yeah, well, the sombrero got lost between running to first after the game-winning hit. So
Why don't you share what Juan Soto had to say? I don't want to mix it up.
he came out and said that he's struggling a little bit because he's getting pitched different than he was last year, not having Aaron Judge behind him. Which to me, this is your first 30 games at a new ballpark, new kind of acclimation. I know it's still New York, so it's not that much difference, but Pete Alonso is absolutely raking. And is the polar bear as good as Aaron Judge? Probably not. But as of right now, he's pretty dang close.
Yep.
Pete Alonso just got passed by Judge in OPS this weekend, but he's still hitting high 300s, OPS. So we're one. Like I just don't. To me, it's like one, you're struggling. I don't know if this is the first time you ever slumped in your career, but You're slumping. It's
Ridiculous.
okay. Yeah. You Juan Soto's gonna end up hitting. He'll hit a hot streak, or all of a sudden you'll have 4 home runs in a week and 10 RBIs. It's gonna happen. It's fine. Just
Yeah,
take a little maturity and say, I'm struggling.
right. And to piggyback on the Pete Alonso point, Pete Alonso in this series slugging over 900 over 3 games. Had one double, 2 home runs. He went 4 for 11, had 4 RBIs. Um, Pete Alonso, in my opinion, and I think I may have said this on the first episode, if the Twins could have just broke out the checkbook for a 1 or 2 year deal for Pete Alonso, we would be speaking a lot differently about this team right now. And I know you love Ty France. Maybe he could be the DH, but um, Pete Alonso, in my eyes, is a top 5 power hitter in today's game. Now, top 5 overall hitter, not so much, but top 5 power hitter, yes, absolutely. So, I think that might be something to monitor going forward. Now, it's also funny that he talks like that when the Mets have such a good record this to start the season. If Soto really takes off here going throughout the rest of the season, the Mets are a division winner or at least contending for a division title. So Cade, you got 2 of 3 for the Braves. I've got a sweep. Do you have any sort of update on Pablo Lopez? I think what I saw last is he is on track to return at the beginning of May.
Yeah. So what I saw is right away when they put him on the IL, he reported that he didn't want to go on it.
Okay.
He said he's like, I feel great. I can pitch out of this, or like it's just kind of a little hiccup, nothing crazy.
Hmm.
Um, so I think the IL stint was a strictly you're in the first month of the season. Let's not make this a long lasting injury, or let him have it nag through him throughout the season in the first half. So I think we're in good news there. I think
Yeah.
he's still on pace with his. He's not even doing like a rehab. He's still throwing bullpen. So I think he'll be back, and I think we avoided a very major injury for the Twins.
I think this weekend and maybe the next week after that is a really big audition for Festa and a really big moment for Chris Paddock. If Paddock struggles this weekend and struggles again on his next start, there's a very, very strong possibility Festa takes that spot. I think the team likes Festa a lot. Festa has really brought it his last 2 starts. I said to you during the game yesterday, I wish that they would have made him work through the jam that he was in, and maybe they wouldn't have won yesterday because of that. That was inevitably that was the right decision that Rocco made bringing in Cullum, but um, I would have just liked to see the young guy in the beginning of the season try to have a high leverage moment and see how he works out of it. Um, Overall, though, if Paddock doesn't play well, I think we see Festa over Paddock and then maybe move Paddock to the bullpen if Brock Stewart can't get back healthy, since Brock Stewart's been on and off and maybe pitched 40 innings in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, I can see that. Notably, his next start is against the White Sox next week. So if there's going to be a time to kind of let the young kid
That's a
kind of see what he's got, that's going to be a
right.
great acclamation and great test for him. I mean, a not good baseball team at all,
Right.
and a series that even if he struggles a little bit, we should win 2 out of 3 again. So that's going to be a notable game that I'm going to be watching next week, looking way into the future.
Yeah.
Just because of that, like there's no reason he should actually go after or beyond 5 innings.
Right. Right. And we were also talking too. I think Bailey Ober had mid 70s pitches in his
Mm-hmm.
game, and he pitched 6 1/3. Uh, it goes back to our conversation last episode with about Rocco's decision with the pitching, and I'm thinking to myself with Bailey Ober too, let the guy go 90, 95. Um, I'm hoping even like this weekend if Simeon Woods Richardson, that's also been a pattern. Let the guy throw 100 pitches. Obviously, if he's getting shelled and has given up 9 in the first 3 innings, given up 5 in the first 2 innings, okay, I can kind of see it, but right now it might be a really good time just to see what these guys got, and it these moments right now in April and May could prove to be really good experience for August and September.
Well, and you know what, we always talk about workload early, and
Yep.
that's where Rocco's big thing is. But on the other hand, Spencer Strider comes back from surgery yesterday and throws 97 pitches in 5 innings. And now I know, obviously, we don't have a Spencer Strider on our staff. I'm not saying that our guys are that bad, but if you're coming off an injury like he was, and you still can throw 97 pitches yesterday, it's clearly not that big of an issue to a healthy pitcher.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand why it's just a constant thing. And we talked about Griffin Jacks in his kind of struggles, I would say, or inconsistent because he pitches great. 2 days later, pitches, gives up 3 runs, almost blows the game for us. But to me, it's like, well, that could be a possibility of it. He's getting used a lot because our guys aren't going that deep, and then we're constantly throwing out the Cole Sands seventh, Griffin Jacks eighth, Yoander ninth. Seems like 2 out of 3 we're throwing Jacks,
Yeah.
and yeah, his arm should be able to take it. I'm not saying that, but at one point, are we going to slow it down a little bit and let our starters go?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they're starters. And we were ranking the bullpen earlier this morning. We got Duran, of course, at the top of the list. And then I'm beginning to kind of waver between Sands and Jax. Jack's start to the season for me has been a big concern. Uh, his off speed, he hasn't been able to locate, and it's been getting crushed. And then Cole Sands' splitter looks better and better every single time that he pitches. It's such an effective pitch for him.
Yeah.
And if we want to go all the way down the board, so right now at this time, I got Duran, Jax, Cole Sands, and then as I was telling you, Louis Varland might be number 4, and then Colum right there also. But Louis Varland looks so good. And again, I don't want to see him for more than 1 inning. Don't come back for a second inning. Just keep with the 1 inning. Throw your 99-mile-per-hour heater, and go out there, as Gardy used to say, and battle your tail off. So I got Varland, Colum, and then Alcala, and then after that, Scott Bloom
I'd
still in the bullpen.
I'd put Topo over Alcoa.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot about Topa. Topa's right around Alcala also. I think Topa, like you said, should be a little bit above Alcala. But we talked about this at the beginning of the season. The bullpen is absolutely the backbone of this team. And if Brock Stewart can come back and actually produce and stay healthy at the same time, where do you rank Brock Stewart in this bullpen? Is it above Jax?
No, you. It depends. Well, as of right now, maybe just because of
Yeah,
his inconsistent in the front. But I don't know if I would throw Cole. I think Cole Sands would be better than him right now.
right now. But if
Yep, just right
Stewart
now.
Stewart comes back healthy, pitching like he did 2 years ago, it might be another episode for a good conversation on that. Because
Yeah, that's you mix that name into our bullpen, and boy, you could go a lot.
so when the trade deadline happens this season, let's say the Twins are competitive, what area of this team, just under 20 games in the season, what area do you address? I have my answer in the back of my head. What's yours?
Um, well, it depends what we're giving up and getting. Um, if we do want to move, I wouldn't mind either getting a long-term option at first base. Catcher obviously is going to be an issue for years to come without seeing anything jump out of our prospect pool that we already have. Um, and honestly, it's like our biggest concern. Maybe I don't think Royce Lewis is the answer, just with injury concerns.
Yeah,
So just another infielder,
right.
um, a young third baseman or first baseman, I would be ecstatic for. And we have tools to give up. We have a lot of players that we can dish out that
Hmm.
wouldn't hurt us.
My answer as well is first base or catcher. If we, and again, no disrespect to Ty France, he's starting off the season really well. and he's been a big part as to why this team even has 7 wins to this point. There's no doubt. However, his fielding really bothers me as a whole. It's an adventure at first base again. So something to look at going forward. And then also the catching. If Rocco is going to run out the whole platoon catcher style of managing, then you're going to need somebody with Jeff to pair with Jeffers, and it just isn't Vasquez. I hate to say it, but I also love to say it. It's not Vasquez. So overall, something to watch. Maybe next episode we'll talk about trade targets that might be available, and I'm not expecting them to acquire. Let's say they sweep this series, they're 10-12. We start talking about trade deadline acquisitions because it's way too early and it's also way too fun. So at that point, we talk about a catcher that bats probably 220 and can really frame once again, because that really seems like that's all that's out there, anyways, that would be available. I think
Yeah,
you'd have to give up a lot of capital to get a catcher. Such an important position. So,
I agree.
you have anything else to add?
Nothing that we haven't talked about that's that pressing of an issue.
Wonderful. Well, Cade and I will be back to follow up the Atlanta series. You heard it here first. Cade's calling 2 of 3. I'm calling a sweep. I'm pounding my fist on the table. This doesn't mean that the Twins are going to make the playoffs. It just means that they're going to ride a hot streak. So thank you again for tuning in. Give us a like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.